Okay, next part is the Blood Drop Church. And you remember our friends, the Ku Klux Klan, they have a blood drop on their logo. Well, so does Anglican Care. Interesting. And a surprise to me was Destiny Church. There's a lot of good men in the Destiny Church, but what are they doing with a blood drop 6 and an all-seeing eye as their logo? The next part is Pyramid Triangle Church logos. Now, just for your memory, I put in there this Freemason seal. It's from New Zealand. 3 pyramids, 3 triangles. Well, a lot of churches have 3 triangles. Remember, a triangle is 60, 60, 60. And so when you have 3 of them together, that gives Luciferian a special delight. And here we have a church with 3 mountains or 3 pyramids. But the worrying thing there is also hidden in plain sight is a square and compass. Can you see it? There's the compass there. And there's the square there. What are you doing with a square and compass in your church logo? I don't know. Once again, Trinity Church has 3 pyramids, but if you look closely at that particular one, there are 6 pyramids hidden in the 3. That's going to warm the cockles of any Freemason's heart. Is the Atomic Church logo. They have 3 pyramids in their logo. I don't know why. Okay, and now let's look at the square and compass church logos. Can you see the square and compass in Diverse Church? Let's get the drawing tool out. Okay, so here is a compass, square here, compass, square there. 2 squares, 2 compasses. And likewise, Bethel Church. Can you see them now? Let me quickly just draw them in for you. Okay, so you have a square there, there, square there, compass there. 2 squares, 2 compasses. Why would you have that in a church? Well, it's not the only ones. Crossway Church in Masterton. You've got squares and compasses in there, and pyramids as well. Can you see them? And Christchurch Cathedral, squares and compasses. Now, let me just draw this one in. It's a little hard to see. Okay, so you have a square there. And you've got a compass there. Okay, so why would you have a square and compass in your church logo? Well, when you think about it, Freemasons are usually wealthy, successful men. It's an old boys network. It does make for economic success, if not spiritual success. And who do we invite onto our leadership team but the wealthy, successful businessmen in the church? So not surprising that Freemasons have undue influence in the church and may get to choose the church logos. I don't know. Here we go. Again, squares and compasses in there, and also a triangle or 2 as well. So next, I want to talk about falling away crosses or bent or weak crosses. Now, the Facebook logo is an excellent example of a bent cross. And it's not surprising Facebook is such an evil organization. And similarly, you have there the Freemason seal of the Knights Templar with a leaning cross. But why would you have a weak, leaning, falling down, falling away cross as your church logo? I do not understand it. Risk Church has such a logo. In fact, there are so many that I have to start cramming them in onto the slides just in interests of time. All these churches have logos that are falling over, crosses. Why would you do that? If you love the cross, why would you have it falling over in your logo? The bottom right-hand one there is St. John's cross. It's additionally spooky because it has a burnt orange background. They had a major fire. They're still rebuilding after their church was destroyed by fire. It seems to be part of their logo, memorialized. Elim churches. A lot of lovely Christians go to Elim churches, but they have, I know it's supposed to be a palm tree, but their cross is so weak and limp. Will it stand up for Jesus? Time remains to see. Then you have an Anglican cross, a very stylized one. It looks very much like an Eye of Horus to me, and you can probably spot a few sixes in there as well. Central Church and Grace Church have leaning crosses for their church logos. Well, the church really needs to stand up now. We'll see what happens. Likewise, all these churches have crosses that are weak or falling. Why do you do that? I do not know. And remember our friends from the Ku Klux Klan. Well, if you want to follow them, that's up to you. But Omega Church has a burning cross. And also, I would say, an all-seeing eye as their church logo. And the Seventh-day Adventists, of course, have a burning cross. They would say it's the Holy Spirit flames. But the Seventh-day Adventists were founded by Freemasons. So I would be very suspect that that was actually a burning cross. And last but not least, some special mentions, phallic symbols in the churches. I mentioned the Satanic Cross, that is basically penis, testicles, and a vagina. Well, St. Peter's in Waikato has an upside-down church cross. And the keys just so happens form the testicles. Well, I'll leave you to decide. But what about C3 Church? It's not just my imagination. I'm not the only one to have noticed it, but C3 Church is basically a penis and testicles. Why would you have that as a church logo? I do not know. But I suppose the time of this video is November 2021. The church in New Zealand is having to decide about all kinds of government regulations. Do we follow it? Do we obey man rather than God? Or do we allow whosoever will to come to our churches? The mandates for the unvaccinated to not attend church are just around the corner. And overseas, churches have buckled. They have obeyed man rather than God. Will these churches that are already infiltrated and weak, possibly with Freemasons on the leadership team, will they stand up for Jesus, or will they buckle? That remains to be seen. But I'm not too hopeful. So it's not just a theoretical thing. It involves freedom of religion. It involves purity in the church. It involves the power of the church, as you can see. If there is an unclean thing in the churches, just like Achan caused the Israelites to lose a battle, we will lose the spiritual battle also, I would say. Okay, I hope you found that interesting, if not edifying. I would say ask the hard questions of your leadership team. Why is your logo like that? And if you can't get any good answers, I'd go somewhere where the logo isn't like that, personally. That's what I've done. Okay, Theophiliac over and out.